Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Have you ever felt fear?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever felt fear?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever felt a lack of peace?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be talking to the part of you that feels that way. I'm not talking to the part of you that doesn't think it has any fear. I'm not talking to that part of you that thinks it knows. I'm not talking to the part of you that thinks it's positive. I'm talking to the part of you that is afraid and thinks it's alone and has to figure things out and has some guilt and sometimes believe in lack and sickness and separation. Everybody clear? That's the part of you that I'm talking to. So when I go through this, it's talking to that part of your mind. So it's going to say some things that the part of your mind that thinks it has its act together doesn't want to hear. Okay? So the part of you that thinks that knows, the part of you that thinks you're loving, the part of you that thinks you're positive, it may not like some of the things that I'm going to say. But the part that's afraid, that wants to get past it, this is for you. Is that cool?
Yes.
So I'm going to continue on what I was talking about last week of fear and conflict. All right, I want to finish that. I thought I was going to do something else, but I was corrected. Sometimes I have this nasty habit of thinking that I know what I'm going to do.
You're not alone.
Does anybody else that goes through that sometimes? Like they totally have the plan in your mind, you know exactly how it's going to be, and then something happens entirely different from what you thought, right? Okay. That's going to be your regular life. It's going to be cool stuff. Like you're going to have stuff happening all day that you didn't expect to happen that you really enjoy. You're going to have things that happen unexpectedly during the day that you didn't expect or plan on that's going to be very happy. Mm-hmm. There are going to be some pleasant surprises that you're going to experience during the day that you didn't know that was going to happen.
Yay!
Okay, all right, that's okay. That's a good stuff.
Well, bigger than that.
That's right. There's nothing bigger than the Broncos. Who said that? There's Broncos and then there's God. No, there's Broncos, there's me, then there's God. So I have to get that in the right order. No, it's me, then the Broncos, then God.
There you go.
You know, whatever my idol is, whatever my fantasy is. Okay, so remember that in order to believe this, you must accept that you need not believe it. In order to believe this, accept that you don't have to believe it in order to believe it. So I'm going to teach you today like I'm not trying to get you to believe anything that I'm saying. I'm going to teach you like I'm not trying to get you to believe anything that I'm saying. I'm going to teach you like I'm not trying to convince you of one solitary thing. Okay? We're going to do an experiment. Okay, so fear is a sign of strain. So we're on page 29 in the Course in Miracles, the section called Fear and Conflict, paragraph 5. For those of you who are following online and those in the book. Okay, so if you feel fear, what you're feeling is strain. You're feeling fear because something that you want is conflicting with something that you're doing. You're experiencing fear in any area of your life where you are. I'm talking to the part of you that has an area that's afraid, not the part of you that thinks it doesn't have one. Okay? That part of you, whatever you're afraid about, whether it's your relationship to God, whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's whatever, health, I don't care what it is, it's a strain. And it's a strain that is there because there's something about what you want to do in this situation that's conflicting with what you're doing. Now, fear arises two ways. Fear arises two ways. Just two. How many? Two. Okay, you can choose to do things that conflict. A lot of stuff that's conflicting at the same time. or you can do one thing after another that you feel fear about, or one thing after another that you feel conflict about, or you can do a lot of things that you feel in fear about, and you can do a lot of things that you feel conflict about. So fear arises from doing what you don't want to do, and you keep doing the things you are afraid of, one after another, or a lot of them at the same time. So what does that mean? Well, it tells me that if I'm feeling fear, that's what's happening. If I'm feeling fear about anything, it means I'm doing what I don't want to do. It means that I'm doing one thing after another that I don't feel peace about and I have conflict about. Now, when you keep doing what you don't want to do, then you're going to have behavior that sucks. Okay, you're going to have behavior that conflicts. You're going to have conflicting behavior. You know what? You'll be one of them jokers. I don't know what you're going to be like from time to time. Every time I see you, it's like I'm walking up on somebody else. You know them kind of people. You don't ever know who's going to show up. When you see them coming, you don't know. One day they like this. The next day they like that. In the morning they like this. In the evening they like this. These are people who are doing one thing after another that they don't want to do. And then the Course says that kind of behavior becomes intolerable. It gets to the point that feeling that kind of fear and conflict all the time, doing what you don't want to do, acting the way you don't want to act. He says that gets to the point that you just can't tolerate it. You just can't take it anymore. You just get to the point, I can't take it anymore. And the reason why it gets intolerable to you is because the part of your mind that wants to do something other than what you're doing is pissed, it's outraged. The part of your mind that wants to do something that you're not doing, it is angry. It's enraged. And the part of your mind that wants to do other than what you know you're doing, or be in that relationship other than the relationship you want to be in, or be in that situation other than the situation you're in, that part of your mind is outraged, and then you can behave as you think you should without really wanting to. Then you start behaving as you think you should. I feel like I should stay, but I really feel like I should go. I'm behaving the way I think I should. I really want to tell you what I really think about you right now. I really want to tell you you really want to know what's going on? I really want to tell you what's really, but I won't because I think it's going to hurt your feelings. So actually, I'm behaving as I think I should, not communicating with you, but I don't really want to. I really want to communicate with you. And he says, if you're a person that's doing that all day, then you are a person who is becoming enraged. And then it says that then you have consistent behavior. Yeah, I come in here and act like everything all right, whether it's all right or not. So my behavior seems consistent, but I'm behaving the way I think I should, because I don't think y'all can really take what was really going on with me.
Yeah.
So you ask me how I'm doing, I'm gonna tell you fine. And I'm gonna smile in your face, and I'm gonna pretend like everything is okay because I'm behaving as I think I should. I don't really want to. I'd love to be honest with you. I'd love to be real with you. I'd love to really show up for 100% for you. So now I'm behaving consistently, but I'm under great strain. I'm going out all day long, behaving like I think I should without really wanting to. Everybody thinks Earl's pretty much cooled out guy. He looks pretty consistent, but I'm under enormous strain because I'm always behaving the way I think I should around you and not the way I want to. That's why I'm with y'all every time you see me. I'm always behaving as I think I should and not the way I want to. Because you couldn't take it. I put so much love on you, you call the police on me. I'll be in jail by 6 o'clock. If I did to you what I wanted to, I want to love you. I want to see you as myself. I want to be unafraid. And so I have consistent behavior, but I'm under great strain. I want y'all to know I'm under great strain every class. So in both cases, the way you're thinking and the way you're behaving are out of accord. So are you doing that? Are there areas of your life you know you're just behaving the way you think you should, but you don't really want to? And are there areas in your life that you're doing one thing after another that you feel conflict about? Oh, I'm calling my mom. I don't really want to. Conflict. You know what I'm saying? You know, he wants to kiss me. I don't want him to kiss me, but go ahead. I don't want to pay this bill. I want to go to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Behaving as I think I should, writing out the check, even though I don't want to. He said that causes strain. He said that causes you to feel enraged. And then he says, I love this. He says, then it says, it says your mind and behavior out of accord. Well, yeah. Well, that results in a situation, that results in a relationship in which you're doing what you don't wholly want to do. You're in a relationship that you're doing something you don't want to do in. You're in a situation where you're doing what you don't really totally want to do in. This arouses a sense of coercion because I'm doing what I don't really want to do. It says, and that usually produces rage. So rage is coming from a sense of coercion. And the Court says a sense of coercion is coming from you not doing what you really want to do. And the reason why you're not doing what you really want to do is because you're afraid. You don't have no faith.
Yes.
You really have faith in God, you'd be doing what you want to do every day. Because you would know you were going to be sustained. I feel like preaching. Like Reverend Purdy. And those of you following me in the paragraph, it says, this arouses a sense of coercion, and it usually produces rage. And what happens after rage is produced? Projection. So now I'm not doing what I really want to do. I'm enraged about that. I don't feel really good about that. I'm upset about that. And it's your fault. Projection.
Yes.
Woo! Tougher than the lightsaber. So let's get this straight. You do one thing after another that you don't really want to do. Your mind and your behavior is out of accord. It makes you feel strained and enraged. And then you get to the point that you project all of the stuff that you're doing to yourself on somebody else, and you say, it's your fault. If you were different, then I'd be happy.
Right.
Everybody recognize that? Everybody recognize that? Okay, hold on before I get to the question. Okay?
Sure.
Now, he says, whenever there is fear, it's because you haven't made up your mind.
Oh.
So whenever you're feeling fear, say, I haven't made up my mind about something. I haven't made up my mind about something. I'm feeling fear about finances. Well, I haven't made up my mind about my finances. I'm feeling fear about my relationship. I haven't made an undivided decision about my relationship. I feel fear about my relationship to God. I haven't made a decision about my relationship to God. The Course is saying whenever you feel fear, it actually means you haven't made up your freaking mind, Earl. You haven't made your mind up, man. You haven't made any real choice. You haven't made any real decision. That's why you're afraid. Like what you're feeling afraid about right now, Earl, is because you haven't made a decision. Got it, buddy? You haven't made a decision, and so that means you're doing what you don't really want to do, and your butt's going to go off, and you're going to freak out.
Yeah.
And people are going to wonder, well, he seems so calm. Why is he on top of you in the temple picking people off? Is that what Course teachers do? You're not your body. 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 Y'all don't want that to happen, do you? No. No. So encourage me not to be doing what I don't want to do. Encourage me not to be doing one thing after another that brings me conflict. It encourages me not to be acting one way and thinking another way. In other words, encourage me to be myself without your judgment.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Beautiful.
You're not here to act. You are not here to act out my scripts. You're not here to act out my scripts, and you're acting out my scripts all the time. You're not here to act out my scripts, but you're doing exactly what I want you to do all the time. And I'm doing exactly what you want me to do all the time, and I'm treating you exactly the way you want to be treated all the time, and I'm saying to you right now exactly what you want to hear, because you're the creator of every single solitary thing you perceive. So everything you're looking at right now is you've ordered it.
Woo.
Every loving thought you hear come out of my mouth, that's you creating me saying that. And everything I say to insult you is you ordering me to say that to you, because everybody gives you exactly what you want and exactly what you ask for and exactly what you believe you deserve. That's the only thing that you receive all the time, because everybody's acting out your thoughts, because everybody is you. So no, you're not going to act out my script, and yes, you're acting out my script.
Right. Right.
The truth is paradoxical. It's very paradoxical. So that's why I can forgive you. That's why I don't have to be angry at you. That's why I don't have to be upset with you, because you're always giving me exactly what I'm asking for. You're always giving me exactly what I'm asking for. You don't give me any more than I asked for. You don't give me any less than I asked for. That's why whatever you give me, I can receive it completely, because I know that's exactly what I want. So I don't want no more from you than you want to give to me, because what you want to give to me is what I want you to give. So whatever you give me is what I'm asking for. So the next time somebody want to give me a lot, I can receive it, because that's exactly what I'm asking for. And if they give me what appears to be a little, I can feel good about that too, because that's exactly what I'm asking for. The person that don't love me, I don't want them to love me.
Yep.
The person that's not my friend, I don't want them to be my friend. Person that's my friend, I want them to be my friend. The person I'm enjoying, I want to enjoy them. The person I don't enjoy, I don't want to enjoy them. Everybody's giving me exactly what I'm asking for. So I need to make up my mind about what I want to experience. I need to get clear. If everything is going to be what I ask for, then I need to know what I want to ask for. And the Course is saying whenever there is fear, he says, because you haven't made up your mind. So for the rest of the week, instead of saying I'm afraid about something, say, oh God, I have the feeling of not making my mind up. I'm having the feeling of not making my mind up. I call it fear about this. Oh, I haven't made my, oh, what's going on, Earl? Well, I can feel that I haven't made my mind up. Instead of saying I'm afraid, say I'm feeling like I'm doing something that I don't really want to do. Tell the truth about what fear really is, and then you won't forget what it is, and then you'll get past it, because you'll see the solution, which is him telling us that wherever there's fear is because you haven't made up your mind. Then it says your mind is therefore split. So what is a split mind? It's a mind you haven't made up. And then he says, if your mind is split, which means you made up I love this. Your mind is split, which means you haven't made up your mind, which means you're feeling afraid. Your mind is split, which means you haven't made up your mind, and so you're feeling afraid. So when your mind is split, a person's mind is split, you can tell that the person's mind is split because their behavior is erratic. So erratic behavior is a split mind. A split mind is a mind that hasn't been made up, and a mind that hasn't made a decision is a mind that's afraid. Thank you. Correcting at the behavioral level can shift the error from the first second to the second type, but won't get rid of your fear. In other words, it's just repeating it again. Behaving the way you think you should won't obliterate your fear. Behaving as you think you should won't obliterate your fear. Making up your mind will get rid of your fear. Behaving a certain way won't get rid of your fear. But when you really change your mind, your behavior automatically changes. When you change your mind, your behavior automatically changes. When you change your mind, your behavior automatically changes. But changing your behavior doesn't necessarily change your mind, because you can behave in a way you don't really feel or think.
Right.
Right? So that's the end of one paragraph. All right, now, Paris.
Yeah.
You had your hand up. You had a question?
Oh, yeah. So I'm thinking about, you had said when we have a split mind and we're feeling fear, then we'll project on a person and we say, I blame you.
Right.
Okay, so do we also do that in light of sort of these recent political events happening, and like we've created that, and so like, is that a way that my split mind that I've projected and have created that fear in a way. So I'm just like taking sort of the micro to the macro.
Turn off the TV.
Yeah.
Turn off the TV. Turn off the TV if that gives you peace. If watching TV gives you peace, watch TV. Because it's all neutral.
Right.
Right, and I don't even watch TV. It's just in the ether.
No, I was just
it's in the
responding to
air.
that statement about
Right.
turning off the TV.
Right.
You know, I'm just saying that now. But what you brought up is something that's really deep. Okay, and I'm gonna show you. It's really great. Okay. All right. Like you just said, the world events.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If there's one man, and that one man is everything, then there's nothing outside of everything. So there can't be anything outside of your mind, because there's just one mind. So that means everything you're looking at is in the mind. There's not anything we see on TV, what's happening in Paris, what's happening across the street, what's happening across this room is not happening, this is not happening in our mind. But what happens is we identify with the conscious part of our mind, and then this other bottom part of our mind we don't identify with, and so we project it out and it becomes the world that we're looking at. So the world that you're looking at is just a segment of your mind that you're in denial that you have. The world is nothing but a projection of your mind that you are in denial about being in your mind. Is what the truth teaches all of us. So that means that whatever I'm looking at is in my mind. Whatever that I'm looking at is in my mind. So if I want to correct it, I've got to correct it in my mind. It can only be corrected in the mind. If I want to have peace here, I've got to have a correct perception of what's going on in my mind. So yes, the world is a projection of the one mind that we all share, that we all are. But we can also project love as easy as we're projecting the insanity and the fear that we're looking at. Mm-hmm. So if you're a really negative person, if you're a really fearful negative person, you reverse it. You consciously think of yourself as crap, but you got a part of you that loves you and that's beautiful that you're in denial about, so it looks like everybody else got all the good stuff because it gets projected out into your world. So all of a sudden it looks like everybody else got the money, everybody else got the relationships, everybody else got the power, everybody else got the joy. That's the flip. That's you being in denial of how powerful and how beautiful and how loving you are. And so you project it out and it looks like everybody else has got it. And everybody else has the prosperity, and everybody else has the joy. That's because you're identifying with the part of your mind that believes in lack. And the part of you that doesn't believe in lack, you're in denial about, so you see it in everybody around you. They are just showing you the wealth you're denying. That's also available to you, that's also yours. So that means all the cool stuff you're looking at is in your mind too. All the beautiful stuff you're looking at is in your mind too. Everything out there that you're really, really, really excited about, that's in your mind too. You got to own it all. So, next paragraph. Who can tell me one of the causes of fear?
A split mind.
A split mind. What's a split mind? A mind that hasn't made a decision about anything, which is deep. Now, he says, it's possible to reach a state of mind in which you bring your mind under my guidance without conscious effort. So it is possible to reach a state of mind that you allow the Creator's guidance to take over without your conscious effort. But this implies a willingness you haven't developed yet. It's possible to reach a state that you can really bring your guidance under the part of your mind that's totally sane and has sense and is all powerful. He says, but this implies a willingness you haven't developed yet. So what we're doing is developing the willingness to let the part of us that loves us create our world. We're trying to develop the willingness to let the part of us that's really off the chain, awesome and powerful, create our reality for us. And then it says, the Holy Spirit, which is that part of you that really loves you, cannot ask more than you're willing to do. So somebody that loves you never asks you for more than you're willing to do. Somebody that loves you never asks you for more than you are willing to do. Someone that loves you never asks or demands from you more than you're willing to do. So you'll get to the point that you know when you're talking to a person there and they're trying to demand that you do something that you're not willing to do, that they're not coming from love, so you feel no guilt about saying no.
Oh, I love it.
I don't have a problem saying no to somebody that's not loving me.
Awesome.
But if I tell myself they love me and they're constantly asking me to do what I'm not willing to do, then I'll be tempted to stay in that game a long time. But if I start going, somebody that loves me wouldn't be trying to get me to do something that I'm not willing to do. So they're not really expressing love to me right now. They're not really expressing love to me right now. Sorry, I'm certainly not going to do what somebody that doesn't love me is asking me to do. For real. I might do it if you back off and say when you're willing to do it, I'm willing for you to do it. But if you're insisting that I do it, then I know that you are not expressing love to me, because a person that loved me would never want me to do something that I really didn't want to do. Not even for them. So he said, he said spirit is the same way. That God is not going to try to, God is smart. He says the infinite intelligence is so smart, a really smart person never asks you to do more than you are willing to do. They ask you to do what you're willing to do, because asking you to do what you're willing to do gets something done. Then he says, now, where does the strength to do come from? He says, well, the strength to actually go ahead and do something, comes from your own undivided decision. So if you don't have any energy to do, then it means you haven't made a decision. If you don't have any energy to do it, you haven't made the decision to do it for real. When you really make a real decision, you always have the strength to do it.
Wow.
So if you say you don't have the strength to do it, you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
The strength to do it comes with the decision to do it. Earl! And you too, Raj. I think you got it right. Damn. Okay. Raj thought he had got away. Isn't that deep?
Yeah.
That if you don't have the strength to do it, you haven't made the decision to do it. That if somebody loved you, they never asked you to do what you weren't willing to do. And something that's smart only asks you to do what you're willing to do so it can get done. And then what you're willing to do, you won't feel like it's a sacrifice, because if you've decided to do it, you'll have the strength to do it. So I'm gonna ask you to only do for me what you're willing to do and you have the strength to do. If I love you. Woo.
Wow.
Woo. But we say stuff like, I don't have the willingness to do it, and you better not do it with nobody else. Right? That's the way we play the game. I'm not willing to do it, but you better not do it with nobody else.
That's right. Crazy.
Cruel, 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 cruel.
Crazy.
That's so cruel.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it, but you better not do it with nobody else.
I know.
Okay, well, I'll go to the library with somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I want you to be with this statement a minute. The strength to do comes from your undivided decision. If you make an undivided decision, you will have the strength to do it. And love would never ask you to do more than you're willing to do. And so you could put your whole life under the guidance of an infinite, powerful love, but you haven't developed the willingness to do that yet. I haven't developed the willingness to truly give my life to God. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He says, there is no, now check this out. How can you tell if you're doing God's will? How can you tell if you're doing the right thing? How can you tell if you're doing the right thing? He says you don't feel no strain.
Yeah.
You don't feel no strain. When you're doing what you really want to do, that you know you're able to do, and you're not in conflict about doing it because you made a decision to do it, you don't feel any strain. And he says doing God's will isn't a strain as soon as you recognize that it's also your will.
Yeah.
See, it's not a strain for me to do what you want me to do. if that's what I want to do?
Oh, wow.
Hello? That's what all it's saying there. It's like there is no strain in doing God's will as soon as you recognize it's yours. You know what I'm saying? You're asking me to do something and I want to do it too. There's no strain between us. There's only strain in relationships because we're in relationships with people who don't want to do what we want to do.
Oh, my God.
That's why the relationship is a strain. You with somebody you think you should, but you're not really sure you want to. You don't have a lot of, made an undivided decision about the relationship, so they call and you go, oh, hell. Do I really want to go out? I don't know. What are we going to do? Oh, we're going to get together tonight. I'm really excited. It's pitiful. It's pitiful because you don't even know if you want to go out with the joker. You don't even know if you want to be here. How do I want to go to class? I don't know. I think I want to stay in the bed. I got drunk last night. I ain't got to go. God will forgive me.
God will forgive me.
And then I'm thinking the people that are showing up are the people who the Holy Spirit is sent, so only the right people come to every class, so it doesn't matter really whether it's 10 or whether it's 1,000, because everybody that comes is being sent, and whoever isn't here doesn't need to be here. It's to my advantage they're not here, it's to their advantage that they're not here. That's the way I attempt to look at it when you're not here. That it's absolutely cool, you're doing what you need to do for your own spiritual development and your growth and your happiness. If you were meant to be here, you'd be here, and those who are meant to be here will be here. And if you look at it like that, if somebody breaks a date, you'll be glad.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, the date was broken. For some reason, I did not need to go out with them tonight. I did not need to go out with them tonight. They did not call me back. I did not need to hear from them at all.
Wow. Yeah.
Earl, I meant to make it to the class, man, but something came up. All right, what came up is what you really wanted to do. I hope you did it. Because you really want to be here, you be here. So I already know that you don't. Why? Because you're doing something else. Now, what does the conscious being do? Go, that's wonderful for me and you. No guilt on either side, no harm, no foul. But if you think things happen to you that you don't want to happen, then it makes you think all day long something's going on that you're not creating. Whew, this is deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Y'all with me now? Come on. Raise your hand. Who with me in the room? All right. Okay. All right. I need help because sometimes I look at you and I don't think you're with me. Okay. It would be like. And some. Come on, black man. Put it on. There's more truth now, black man. Come on. More truth. MC Mo Truth. So the lesson here is quite simple. Even though it's particularly apt to be overlooked, the lesson is quite simple. Even though you might overlook it, the lesson is quite simple. Even though you might overlook it, the lesson is simple, even if you might overlook it. So I will therefore repeat the lesson. And guess what? I'm going to urge you to listen. I'm going to repeat the lesson, and I'm going to urge you to what? Listen. All right. Only your mind can produce fear. Only your mind can produce fear. Only your mind can produce fear. Only your mind is. Okay, let me give you an example. You take the situation that happened in Paris. This is going to be an extreme example. It's going to stretch you. All right. The event that happened was neutral. Even though it's difficult to see it that way because we can't see it that way. The Course in Miracles says we have no neutral thoughts. Even though everything is neutral, we have no neutral thoughts. So what does that mean? It means the event was neutral. And so that means it doesn't have a meaning until you give it a meaning. No matter how horrible it seems. Because even you seeing it as horrible is a meaning that you gave it. So there's at no point that you're not seeing the meaning that you gave it and not the actual event.
So this time I saw it as neutral. So
Okay,
what the hell's
well,
wrong with me?
you didn't. You didn't see it as neutral.
Like,
It's impossible for you to see anything neutrally.
Really?
It's impossible.
So did I just like?
Because if you were seeing
Let it
it
go?
saw it neutrally, the question wouldn't even arise that you're asking right now.
Okay.
So that means that you didn't see it neutral. But let's accept that God might be right that you don't see anything neutrally.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
felt
just.
guilty, like I didn't care enough.
Well, it's we don't care as much about someone we don't know personally. If we just want to talk about being honest,
Yeah.
you know, you can have compassion.
Yes.
You can say, I wish that didn't happen, all of that. But that's not the same as that was your son, your daughter, your
Right.
best friend.
Right.
Let's get real.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we might be calling a spiritual perspective is just people not being special to us. And we'll say, oh, I wasn't affected by that. That's because it wasn't your car that just got
Yeah.
ran.
Yeah.
So you can tell me, oh, the car is just an illusion. Because it wasn't your car that got ran into. Now I'll be impressed when your car gets run into and you go, oh, it's just an illusion. Let's go down to Pete's and have some pancakes. See, anybody can see my stuff from a spiritual perspective. It's easy for you to see my problems as, oh, Earl, what are you even concerned about that? You know God's going to make a way. And then you be going, I got a parking ticket. Oh, God. The same person that just 5 minutes was telling you to look at it from a pure spiritual perspective is freaking out when it's got something to do with them person. So I'm not really impressed by people being spiritual about other people's stuff. Me personally, you're not going to impress me too much about how you look at the world with love. You know? So, let's repeat it. He says, the lesson is quite simple, particularly apt to be overlooked. I will repeat it, urging you to listen. Only your mind can produce fear. Only your mind can produce fear. Only your mind can produce fear. Your mind produces fear whenever it is conflicted in what it wants. Your mind produces fear. It's coming from you being in conflict about what you want. Now, the way I simplified it in my life is to say, I want only love. I've made an undivided decision that Earl Purdy is going to have his freedom, he's going to have his innocence, he's going to only experience God and love and truth and joy. I've made an undivided decision about that, even if I don't know what I'm saying and I don't know how it's going to happen. But what does that mean? It means I need to start saying no to attack, no to judgment, no to someone mistreating me as I define mistreating me. So the Course then says, only your mind can produce fear. It does it whenever it's in conflict in what it wants. And whenever your mind is in conflict about what it wants, notice it's saying the same thing again. It produces inevitable strain because wanting and doing are discordant. And what you want and what you're doing and what you want and what you're doing are different. You know you want it this way, but you know you're doing something totally different. You know you want it this way, but you know you're not doing it. He says that wanting and doing, he says, becomes discordant. And this can only be corrected by accepting a unified goal. So you can only get rid of your fear by accepting a unified goal. You only get rid of your fear by having one goal, a goal that's unified. So what does that mean? It means I'm going to ask that my personality, my emotions, my possessions, my body, my thoughts, that every single aspect of myself and of my life be used for the goal of love. Got it? I got it? It's like have one purpose for every part of your life. Have the same purpose for everything. Give everything the same purpose and you will get rid of your fear and conflict. Give everything in your life the same purpose and you will be free of conflict and fear in every part of your life. Give everything in your life one purpose, a unified purpose, the same purpose, and the Course says that this will totally get rid of your fear. Yes, but 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 yes, but. So the first corrective step in undoing the error is to know first that the conflict is an expression of fear. So the first thing to do is I need to understand that if I'm in conflict, I'm experiencing an expression of fear. If I'm in conflict, I'm experiencing an expression of fear. Conflict is a fear expression. Conflict is a fear expression. Conflict is a fear expression. So what do? You say to yourself that I must have somehow chosen not to love, or the fear could not have arisen. I have chosen not to love right now, and if I had chosen to love right now, I wouldn't be afraid right now. If I was really choosing to love right now, I wouldn't be afraid right now. If I was really choosing to love right now, I wouldn't be afraid right now. Somehow, I must have chosen not to love in this situation, or the fear could not. I got this fear and conflict in my relationship. Okay, I must not be loving in this situation, or I wouldn't be afraid in this relationship. I must not be choosing for love in this relationship, or I wouldn't be going through conflict in this relationship. Oh, I must not be choosing love in my financial situation, so therefore I have fear about my financial situation. I must have chosen not to love myself, and so now I have fear of myself. Wherever I'm not experiencing love, I'm experiencing fear, and if I am experiencing fear, I have chosen not to love. Breathe. 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 So this is the answer. To say to yourself, you must have somehow chosen not to love, but the fear could not have arisen. Then the whole process of correction becomes nothing more than a series of pragmatic steps. Okay, what's the steps? Well, I'm going to give you some pragmatic steps to take once you have told the truth and said the reason why you're in fear in this situation, Earl, is because you've chosen not to love in this situation. It's the reason why you're feeling the conflict right now, is that you've chosen not to love right now. So now, since you've admitted that, we're going to give you the pragmatic steps. We're going to give you the steps in the larger process of accepting your innocence as the remedy. I'm going to give you the steps in the larger process of accepting love as the remedy. These steps may be summarized in this way. Course in Miracles says, teach my classes, Holy Spirit said, teach your classes from here on out as if you'll never see them again.
Wow.
As if you'll what?
As if I'll never see you again. Start teaching my classes as if I'll never see you again. And that because I'm going to give you everything.
Thank you.
See, taking for granted that I'll always be here every Sunday keeps you from fully appreciating what I have to offer. My thinking you're going to be here every Sunday keeps me from appreciating what you have to offer. Earl might not always be here. You may not always be here. And you'll know if you're not here is where you're supposed to be. So you're supposed to be completely innocent about not being here. So the first thing you do when you're afraid, he says, say no first, this is fear. And Paris is going to give us a little song at the end too, and we're going to need it. Okay. So the first thing to say is know first that I'm going through fear right now. I'm going to tell the truth. Right now I'm feeling fear in this area of my life. Then you tell yourself, fear arises from a lack of love. Fear is coming from a love lack. Fear is coming from a lack of, I'm feeling afraid right now because I'm not loving right now. I'm feeling afraid right now because I'm not loving right now. I feel afraid right now because I'm not loving right now. I'm not loving. I'm not being loving. I'm not expressing love right now. So I'm afraid right now because I'm not expressing love right now. I'm afraid, but I'm afraid because I'm not experiencing love right now. I think there's a lack of love in this situation right now. And the only remedy for lack of love, the only remedy for fear, the only remedy for fear, the only remedy for lack of love is perfect love. That means complete love. That means complete freedom. That means complete joining. The only remedy is complete joining. The only remedy is complete joining with God. The only remedy is complete joining with love. The only remedy is the complete joining with each other. The only remedy is the complete joining in unity. The only remedy is the complete joining of love, which is perfect love. Perfect love is the atonement. So atonement means perfect love. So when you say I want to atone, you're just saying I want to express perfect love with you now. I want to atone for what I've done with you means I just want to express perfect love with you right now. I want to experience perfect love with you right now. I don't want this to be a bunch of intellectual words that we come to hear every week. I want to hear the instructions. I want to hear the instructions about what we're being told. But even more than that, I want to join with people who want to practice it even though they know they're freaking afraid. Mm-hmm. And so it says, oh God, let me see here. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Uh-huh. All right. I'm gonna stop right there. Acknowledge yourself, please. For being able to hang. Own all the good stuff that you see out there as being in your own mind, but that you're in denial about it, and so that it can come into your life. Because whatever you see is separate from you can't join with you. If you see it as separate, then you can't join with it. So never envy someone else that seems to be more prosperous, more happy, more joyful, more wealthy. You're just looking at the part of yourself that you're in denial about. Wow. And if you're happy for that part of yourself, and you see yourself as one with everybody that's wealthy and prosperous and happy as you perceive it, then by you seeing yourself as one with them, it can circulate into your life, because something that's one with you can circulate through you. If I see myself as connected to you, then what comes to you comes to me. So if you see yourself as connected to all the loving thoughts and people and incredible things in your life, even if it looks like they have something you don't, that's the way you allow it to flow into your experience, because it's just one of us here. It's just one of us. Whatever it is, it's just one of it. That's the truth. That is the truth. Oh, so we're going to do the financial expression of appreciation, which I want to thank you for. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I appreciate it. Just go to my website, earlpurdy.com, because the truth has taught me there's nothing wrong with asking for what you want. Just don't be mad at somebody if they don't give it to you.
Just love them.
It's like, because that was the last person you were supposed to receive it from in that moment. That would have been not the right person for you to receive it from in that moment. Whew. God, if I believed this for a minute, I wouldn't be afraid. If I really let myself believe this, I would not be afraid of anything. Wow. Wow. So I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions. Yeah. Go to my website. It explains it. I can do it on Skype, phone, or in person, depending on where you are. And we can. Could you imagine taking whatever you're going through and then having an opportunity to take the truth, to apply it to that so you can get past it? That's what we do in the clarity session. And then if a person's open to it, I use astrology and numerology, which I've studied for 40 years, which is just for those out there who might be tempted to judge because you're so spiritual. I like to say that the Course in Miracles teaches that there's not one single solitary skill or anything that we've made that cannot be used by love and spirit to bring us to awakening. So astrology is just as real or unreal as the Course in Miracles or any other spiritual path as far as a form in the world. And that's just a fact. That what loves us can communicate to us through anything we're open to receiving. Absolutely. A person that's really ready to learn the truth could look at a leaf on a tree and know everything we just talked about today. Somebody who really wants love, nothing can stop them from receiving it. Somebody that hasn't made up their mind, then they're going to say it's not available. All right? So I'm going to do one more announcement I'll do after the class that Sheila's going to do. Paris, would you come up now, please? There it is. Let's welcome Paris, y'all. Lord have mercy. Yeah.
So you can close your eyes or keep them open. If you feel like singing with the chorus, I welcome all song voices. It's like the lilacs are making a comeback after a fierce hailstorm. The tiger, she opens her eyes way wider than the norm. Thunder touches the treetops to join in the song. A black cat crosses my path as old beliefs transform. For the holiest and for the highest, north, south, east, and west. For the holiest and for the highest, perched from the raven's nest. For the holiest and for the highest, above, below, within. For the holiest and for the highest, here everybody wins. Kali has lent me her sword to cut through the bullshit. Mountain spirits are counseling me to use it wisely. A sharp blade pierces the air and cuts through stagnation. We all rise to let it all go. For the holiest and for the highest, north, south, east, and west. For the holiest and for the highest, perched from the raven's nest. For the holiest and for the highest, above, below, within. For the holiest and for the highest, here everybody wins. Today it's a blue sky. We felt the tears we've cried. It's from here we choose to shine, living from the inside out, living without any doubt, but from a place of knowing. For the holiest and for the highest, north, south, east, and west. For the holiest and for the highest, perched from the raven's nest. For the holiest and for the highest, above, below, within. For the holiest and for the highest, here everybody wins.
Let's give it to ourselves one more time. So don't forget, complete love is the atonement. Making an undivided decision for love, that's the atonement. An undivided decision for love, that's the atonement. Perfect love is the atonement. An undivided decision will get rid of your fear. An undivided decision will rid you of fear. An undivided decision will rid me of fear. An undivided decision will rid me of fear. An undivided decision will rid me of fear. An undivided decision will rid us 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 of fear. Say what? An undivided decision will rid us of fear. Give it up, Holy Spirit. Tuesday night, The Way of Mastery at 7 o'clock. Miss Sheila?